It looks like a perfectly ordinary family photo. 4 smiling faces, a proud father, a loving mother, and 2 sons dressed up for dinner, celebrating Bart Whitaker's college graduation. But just hours after this photo was taken, that family would be shattered. On the night of December 10th, 2003, the Whitakers returned home from dinner. Bart's younger brother, Kevin, stepped through the door first, and he was immediately shot. His mother, Patricia, was killed next, then his father, Kent, was wounded. Bart, curiously, wasn't harmed. It looked like a home invasion, but the truth was far more disturbing. Bart hadn't graduated. In fact, he hadn't attended school in years. The celebration, the photo, the diploma, it was all a lie. And the shooting, it wasn't random. Bart had orchestrated it all. He hired a hitman, his own friend, to ambush his family. His motive? Money, and the fear of being exposed. He smiled in that family photo, knowing his loved ones would be dead within hours. He fled to Mexico but was later captured, convicted of capital murder, and sentenced to death. But in a strange twist, his father, the man he tried to have killed, begged for mercy. And in 2018, Bart's execution was halted. He now serves life in prison without the possibility of parole. That photo still exists. It's just a picture. 4 smiles frozen in time. But now, only one of those smiles belongs to a man who knew what was coming. And that changes everything. It's a photo filled with hope. 7 astronauts smiling, all suited up, ready to board the space shuttle Columbia. The mission patch is visible on their chests. The cabin is lit, the countdown is on, they're about to leave Earth behind. And none of them knew they wouldn't be coming back. This image, taken just minutes before liftoff, became the last known photo of the Columbia crew alive. Mission STS-107 launched on January 16th of 2003. It was supposed to be routine, 16 days in orbit, running science experiments, studying Earth's atmosphere, and by all accounts, it went perfectly. That is, until re-entry. Unbeknownst to the crew, a piece of foam insulation had broken off the shuttle's external tank during launch. It struck the left wing, damaging the heat shield, and NASA noticed it but dismissed it. On February 1st, as the Columbia re-entered Earth's atmosphere, the damage sealed their fate. Superheated plasma tore through the wing. The shuttle broke apart mid-air at over 12,000 miles per hour. The crew never stood a chance, but that photo, those 7 smiling faces, still remains. Commander Rick Husband, pilot William McCool, Kalpana Chawla, David Brown, Laurel Clark, Michael Anderson, and Ilan Ramon. Each one of them beaming with pride, with purpose, with anticipation. It's the kind of image NASA posts to inspire the next generation. But when you know what happens just days later, how their bodies were scattered across Texas fields, it becomes something else entirely. A portrait of people unknowingly walking toward their death. And the most haunting part, they were still smiling. She's smiling at the camera, barefoot in the sand. Deborah Garlick, 20 years old, enjoying a Christmas getaway in Thailand. Behind her, the ocean sparkles under the tropical sun. The beach is quiet and calm. She has no idea that death is actually racing toward her. This photo was taken on the morning of December 26, 2004. just minutes before one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. A 9.1 magnitude earthquake had erupted deep beneath the Indian Ocean. The sea pulled back in eerie silence. Locals knew what it meant, but tourists did not. Deborah's photo was snapped just minutes before the wave struck. The Boxing Day tsunami slammed into the Thai coast at over 30 feet high. Entire resorts were wiped off the map. Over 230,000 people were killed across 14 countries. Bodies vanished beneath water and rubble. Deborah was one of them. Her photo, smiling, peaceful, unaware, was later found in a recovered camera. It circulated online as one of the last known images of a victim taken before the tsunami hit. It's beautiful and horrifying. Because we know something she didn't. That everything behind her was already rising. The sea, the silence, the doom. That smile, so full of life, is now frozen in time. A picture-perfect moment just seconds away from catastrophe. And that's what makes it so chilling. Not what you see, but what you know comes next. It almost looks like a joke. A man, standing casually, holding a metal sphere the size of a basketball. He's smiling, relaxed, and confident, as if he's showing off a trophy or a science project. But what Harold Agnew is holding is something far more sinister. It's the core of a nuclear bomb. And not just any bomb, the same plutonium core that would be used in Fat Man. The atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki in 1945. That small, silvery object in his hands would go on to kill over 70,000 people in mere seconds. Agnew is part of the Manhattan Project, the US government's top secret program to develop atomic weapons during World War II. He wasn't just a scientist, he was there, aboard the observation plane that watched Nagasaki burn. But in this photo, there's no fire, no horror. It's just a man smiling with the deadliest object ever created by human hands. It's disturbing because of the contrast. So much destruction contained in something so small. So much death held with such ease. The sphere itself is deceptively simple, but inside it contains enough plutonium to unleash the fury of a dying star. That smile, it's not evil, but it just doesn't belong. Because we knew what came next. Buildings incinerated, shadows burned into stone, children vaporized in an instant. And it all started with what he's holding. One photograph, one smile, and one man cradling the end of a city. It looks like a tourist photo. A woman stands near the edge of the Hoover Dam, sunlight at her back, the Colorado River far below. She's looking away from the camera, toward the vast canyon below. Her name is Heather Price Papayoti, and within moments of this photo being taken, she would be gone. On June 3rd, 2014, Heather arrived at the Hoover Dam alone. Surveillance shows her walking calmly through the visitor center, taking in the sights. Simply just another face in the crowd. She wasn't acting strange, she wasn't running, and she didn't scream. She simply climbed the railing and jumped. At 726 feet tall, the Hoover Dam is one of the highest suicide points in the United States. What's terrifying is how quiet it all was, and just how quick everything happened. When rescue crews arrived, there was simply nothing to be done. But the photo of her, standing near the ledge, hair blowing in the wind, would later be found online. It's not dramatic and not dark. It's peaceful, almost serene. And that's what makes it so chilling. She looks like she's admiring the view, like she's planning the rest of her day, but instead she was preparing to disappear. No one knows exactly why Heather did it. There was no note, no warning, just a smile and a step forward. Now that the image lives on as a digital ghost, a freeze frame of the moment before the fall, a peaceful scene hiding irreversible intent, a woman alone, staring into the canyon, and the canyon staring back. They look happy, excited. Two young Dutch women, Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, smiling wide for a selfie in the lush Panamanian jungle. The kind of photo you post during a dream vacation. Sunlight filters through the trees, their faces glow with adventure. It would become one of the last photos ever taken of them alive. In April of 2014, the two friends set off for a hike near the town of Boquete, planning to explore the remote Pianista Trail. It was supposed to be a short but scenic walk. They never came back. Days passed, then weeks. Panic set in. Eventually their belongings began to surface. Lisanne's backpack, found by a local woman, strangely dry despite the rainforest's constant downpour. Inside was a camera, and what was on it disturbed everyone. The first few photos are normal. Smiles, trails, streams. But then things shift. Photos taken at night, over 90 of them, blurry, disoriented, darkness pierced only by flash. One shows branches arranged in a strange pattern, another a blurry figure, possibly Kris, lying down, motionless. Their remains were eventually found, scattered, bone fragments, a boot with a foot still inside, but no definitive cause of death. Some believe they got lost and succumbed to the jungle. Others suspect something darker, foul play hidden behind the trees. But what makes this story truly terrifying is that camera. Those pictures started as souvenirs of an adventure, smiles, sunlight, freedom, and ended as a silent record of something going terribly wrong. The forest doesn't speak, and the dead can't explain, so we may never know what really happened, but those photos still exist, smiling, then screaming into the dark. She was laughing, smiling, and singing behind the wheel. Lisa Left Eye Lopes, the wild electric soul of the R&B group TLC, was filming a documentary about her spiritual journey in Honduras. A break from fame, a time for healing. The camera was rolling and it caught everything. April 25th of 2002, Lisa was driving down a narrow road in La Ceiba with friends and family in the car. She held the camcorder, filming her face, her feet on the pedals. She looked alive, energized. Then, in an instant, the laughter stops. The footage shows the moment her SUV suddenly veers off the road. Screams, a sickening jolt. The camera flips, dirt and sky spin wildly. When it finally goes still, it's silent. Lisa was thrown from the vehicle and died almost instantly. She was just 30 years old. But here's where it gets eerie. Just days earlier, Lisa had claimed she was being followed by a dark spirit. In fact, she said it tried to kill her, and even believed it accidentally took the life of a young boy she'd hit with a car the week before. She thought death was stalking her, and maybe she was right. The most chilling part was that she filmed her own death. The camera, still running, captured the exact second her life ended. The final shot, her eyes lit up in the sun, her mouth mid-sentence. It's not just haunting. It's a moment frozen between life and impact. A smile that had no idea would be her last. It looks like an ordinary snapshot, something you could find in a family scrapbook. A man stands casually next to a bright red car on a quiet street in Omagh, Northern Ireland. He's relaxed, unaware, caught in a moment of everyday life. But that moment was about to be shattered forever. On August 15th, 1998, a car bomb exploded in the heart of Omagh, killing 29 people and injuring hundreds. This photo was taken just minutes before the blast. The man in the picture vanished moments later. Innocent lives were lost in an instant, and families were torn apart, a community shattered. This simple image captures more than just a man by a car. It holds a final breath of peace before chaos. A reminder that tragedy can strike when least expected. That red car, it was the bomb. That man, he didn't know he was standing next to death. This photo is a haunting freeze frame, a reminder of how quickly life can end. A moment of calm turned nightmare, and an innocent face forever linked to terror. This is Rodney Alcala. He looks charming, confident, and even funny. In 1978, he appeared as a contestant on the popular TV show The Dating Game. Smiling, flirting, and winning hearts with ease. But behind that smile lurked a monster. Alcala was a serial killer responsible for the deaths of at least 7 young women, though some suspect the number to be far higher. While America watched him try to win a date, he was actively stalking, torturing, and murdering victims. The photo of him on the game show is unsettling, not just because of who he was, but because of what it represents. A man capable of pretending normalcy so perfectly that millions saw only a charming bachelor. One woman even chose him on the show, unaware of the darkness beneath the surface. His crimes were brutal, victims found strangled or bludgeoned, some kept as trophies. After years on the run, Alcala was finally caught and convicted. But the footage of this game show, the bright lights, easy smile, casual confidence remains. A chilling reminder that evil can hide behind the most ordinary faces. That sometimes the person sitting next to you on TV could be a killer. And in Rodney Alcala's case, he wasn't just any killer. He was the dating game killer. This is no ordinary photo. It shows a group of survivors huddled together amid the twisted wreckage of their plane, deep in the Andes Mountains. This was Uruguayan Flight 571, which crashed on October 13th, 1972, carrying 45 passengers, mostly a rugby team and their friends. The images capture the struggle for survival in freezing cold, isolated miles from civilization. At first glance, they look like ordinary people trying to stay warm, but what this photo doesn't show is the nightmare beneath the surface. Trapped by snow and ice, starving, with no rescue in sight, these survivors faced a horrifying choice. To live, they resorted to cannibalism, eating the flesh of those who had already died. They endured freezing temperatures, avalanches, and the crushing weight of despair. Sadly, most of them would not last. Only 16 were eventually rescued after 72 brutal days in the mountains. This haunting photo was taken during that impossible wait, a frozen moment of human resilience and desperation. It's a reminder that beneath every innocent image, there can be a story of unimaginable horror, of people pushed to their absolute limits, of survival at any and every cost. And sometimes the most disturbing stories are captured in the quietest of photos.